Hello people, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Is James Jani right? Is crypto the world's greatest scam? Okay guys, let's get into it. Okay, James Jani, a huge content creator and not someone who's actually specific to crypto. He does a lot of different topics. Like one of the videos that he did that I really liked was about The Secret, and he was basically breaking down how people have used The Secret to, make money and how he believes it's truly like a scam. I'll be honest with you, for the most part, James Jani, I agree with a lot of the videos that he covers. He's very good. He's a very well articulate and intelligent guy. I really do believe that. But in this video, I think he's way off. I'm just going to be completely honest. And so I wanted to address this. And this video is actually 2 years old. And people might be thinking like I've waited for this bull run to occur for me to address this. I really haven't. It's just a thing of I had this video in my bookmarked videos to watch for ages, and it just never came around for me to watch it. And I recently had the chance to just give it some time and watch it properly, and I did, because I just wanted to see what his thoughts were. And I think the reason why I probably didn't watch it is because when I saw the world's greatest scam, I was like, okay, like it's not the case. So I just kind of didn't really believe that anyway, but I wanted to see what his thoughts were and then make a decision based on that. So let's get into what James Jani is talking about here. So he's talking about crypto being a huge scam. And why is he saying this? The main thing that he's doing here is basically just focusing on all the negatives. And I think that's the problem with this video. It's all well and good to look at things that are happening that are bad, which, look, I'm not here to say that there's not people who are using crypto as scams. That's not the point of this. The point that I'm trying to make here is there's many things that can be used as scams, right? Like, so for example, right now he's saying now crypto's a scam. Well, we can say fiat currency is a scam, right? Like people say, oh, they're using crypto to scam people. Well, okay. Do people not use cash as a way to do money laundering, right? Do people not use cash to do crime, right? So when you're saying about how people are doing, crypto as a way to scam, the thing about this is, my argument here is, it's not that crypto is a bad thing and that crypto inherently is a scam. It's that people are using crypto to do scams. It's the same way you can look at cash. As I said, cash isn't necessarily just a scam in of itself, but people use cash to do scams, right? And, like cash can be printed and things like that. So its value can be debased and things like that. So like there's a lot of things where you could look at cash and say, well, cash is a giant scam, right? So when you're saying this about crypto, why are you saying that like crypto is like so significantly different? It's just not. And so James Jani is focusing here on like NFTs, and he's going into a lot of information. Don't get me wrong, he's giving you a lot of facts here about how people have done like rug pulls, or how people have created these NFTs and made a lot of money and then cashed out and stuff like that. Now look, with NFTs, I've said this before, for me, NFTs, I look at NFTs like digital art. People give NFTs basically a price of what they feel it's worth. It's the same way I could look at a painting and they could say this painting's worth $1 million. I could look at it and think, I wouldn't even pay $10 for this. I have no idea what it is. It looks ridiculous. It just looks silly to me. But, other people could look at it and think, oh yeah, this is well worth $1 million. It's subjective. So to just call that a scam, I think is a bit short-minded. But don't get me wrong. Do I think that some people were just creating these things as a hope to make money? Yeah, I do. Like, absolutely. I do think people were making NFTs and just thinking, maybe some people will give it value. But you could look at art in that way then, right? You could look at people who are drawing these things, and maybe you could look at it and say, hey, show this person what they think of this. And they could say, well, art is a scam because people are just drawing these things and hoping like it'll get a huge amount of value attached to it, right? So NFTs is just like digital art to me. If people think it's worth that money, then that's what it's worth. If people don't think it's worth that money, then they don't pay for it. So yes, again, I do think that NFTs can be used as a scam. Like people could just put it out hoping to make money, but people have to be willing to pay for it, right? Like I never brought no NFTs in the previous bull run because to me, I looked at them and didn't think there was anything to them. Now, maybe they just got them in a way of like making money, but I just didn't want to get involved in that, so I chose not to. So I'm an actual example here of if you don't deem it to be valuable, then you don't buy it. And that's the same way it can be for other people. And so, again, I just don't think that's the right way to look at this, to say that crypto as a whole is a scam. Now, again, could the creators have been looking at it as a scam in their eyes? Yeah, maybe. But again, they're using crypto as a way to do their own scams. That those are bad people. It doesn't mean that crypto is bad. It's just bad people using crypto to do bad things, right? So, okay, just getting into some more points about this. When he was talking about how, crypto can be used for scams and stuff like that, let's go back to the internet, because this is one of the things that he was talking about. He was saying how, people are likening crypto to the internet, and he's saying there's no real correlation of that because the internet has brought way more value. Okay, let's go back to when the internet was in, let's say, 2009, and you had the dot-com bubble. What happened with that? Was that not basically like a scam? Right? So with the dot-com bubble, what happened was the internet was really starting to boom. Everybody was really starting to love the internet. It was really taking off. And so people were buying .com domains, right? Website domains. So people would buy pet.com or buyahouse.com and stuff like that. And they would buy really generic terms for these websites. And what would happen is companies would want these domains. They would want to build their businesses on these domains. And so these domains started selling for a lot of money, huge amounts of money. And so a lot of people was buying these domains, and it was making their companies look like they were hugely overvalued. And what happened? Well, there was a huge bubble, and eventually the bubble popped. And what happened was a lot of these .com domains that were brought, the companies didn't survive, because really people just started buying the domains hoping to make money. They wasn't doing it because they genuinely had this great company. A lot of them was just buying the domain hoping that would give value to the company, and that's what they did. And so what happened was, when the dot-com bubble popped, what was left was the companies who really did, have genuine business behind it, these companies that weren't just being made to make money, to just make a quick buck. Yet the companies out there that really had longevity and had a real business, proposal and real business dealings, they were the ones that survived, right? And that's exactly what's going to happen with crypto. Right? There's 20,000 plus cryptos out there. Once this space gets really regulated and everything's sorted out like that, 95% of cryptos will die. They'll be gone. They won't survive regulations. And that's what the dot-com bubble was like. A lot of these companies, these crypto companies, they won't survive. But then you'll be left with the ones that are genuine, the ones that have real utility, and the ones that can really, do things. And that's the same thing as what happened with the dot-com bubble. So this is no different to the internet. It's the exact same thing. So, again, when he's talking about a lot of this stuff, he's saying how these cryptos don't have utility. And this is where I was for James, this is really naive thinking. This was where I was has he really studied crypto other than just Bitcoin and NFTs? Because I don't know how he can say that. With how high he is as a content creator, with how much research he does when he does videos, I'm really surprised as to why he didn't have any knowledge as to why he could understand that, there are cryptos out there that really do have utility and that can actually serve a purpose. He was basically saying that all these cryptos are just backed up off of nothing and they can't do anything. And I'm have you looked at cryptos like XRP, HBAR, Algorand, VeChain, Cardano? Have you looked at any of these cryptos, or are you just talking about Bitcoin here? Because yeah, Bitcoin doesn't have any utility, we know that, but there's so many other cryptos out there when actually, if you look at them, they are doing things. They literally do have utility. XRP, just a quick one. There's banks using XRP. They've got partnerships with the government and, doing things like CBDCs for countries and stuff like that. There's so many different things that you can look at with all these different crypto companies, Hedera, etc. They're all doing huge things and changing industries. So it's to just say it has no utility, I was just wow, that's a bold statement to make when it's so easy to prove wrong. I'm just surprised he was willing to say something like that. and not understand it. Like, but maybe, maybe at that time he was confident in his research. He felt confident saying that. I don't know. Now, one part of the video, they get into talking about tokenization, which obviously is something I've said before is like, a big deal in regards to, how crypto is going to evolve and what it can do. And it shows you like an interview with someone who's basically talking about how tokenization isn't really a big thing. Like he's saying, it's not really solving a problem. He's basically like, oh, all it's doing is making things that was already available on the blockchain and now available to the public. Again, like, this is what I mean. Like, this is what happens when you get people who talk with conviction but just don't understand what they're talking about. If you can't understand what the benefits will do from tokenization, like, you're either ignorant or like you shouldn't speak, because this is the problem. Like, this is what I have like with influencers that I deal with a lot. Is like they talk on things and don't know what they're talking about. If you can let's just say, for example, if you can tokenize the stock market, do you know how more efficient that will make the stock market? Do you know how much easier that will be? How much cheaper it will be? How much there'll be less need for a middleman in between? You won't need middlemen companies. You can make it decentralized. You can make it cheaper. You can make it instant when you sell your money. You can have it readily available straight away. You could actually make the stock market so it can run 24/7 rather than it being, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 or whatever times it is. Like, the benefits that you can have with tokenizing things is incredible. Houses, you can make it so you can have fractionalized ownership of a house. It no longer means that you have to have a certain price point to get into a house. You could maybe have, like, let's just say even $100 worth of a house because you can fractionalize the ownership. If you can't think of what the benefits of what tokenization can do, then you really don't understand crypto, and you shouldn't be speaking on it, in all honesty, because you don't have a big enough perspective on what you're speaking about. Now, I'm not saying that about James Jani in particular, because he did touch on it, but it was more this interview. I can't remember who the guy was, but I just watched that point, and James Jani obviously used this in his material, so clearly I think he agrees with him. But I just saw this and I was just like, oh my God, like, this is so misguided. It's unbelievable how off they are with this. And so, okay, just a couple last things I'm going to touch on just in regards to this. Like when people are talking about the crypto market being a scam, hey, look, you can look at the stock market, and the stock market at this point is heavily manipulated. So again, are you saying that the stock market's bad too? I don't know, because he never mentioned anything about the stock market. But if you're talking about the crypto market being a scam, you can look at the stock market, and the stock market is heavily manipulated as well. So again, why are we just focusing on crypto, saying that crypto is just a scam? I don't really understand it. And just lastly, when people invest in a crypto or a stock, for example, it's the same thing, right? Let's be honest. A lot of people, when invested in, for example, like Amazon, Facebook, I don't think they're investing because they just believe in the cause of the company. They're hoping to make money, right? The same way with crypto. People invest in crypto because they're hoping to make money. Now, don't get me wrong. It could be that they do believe in the technology as well. So for me, for example, I believe in what XRP can do. So maybe, people believed in Amazon saying, I think this could be a store that really does grow and be big long term. Or iPhone, for example, like people might have invested in Apple thinking, I think this could be the next big technology company. And it proved out to be right. But you're hoping to make money. The same with crypto. Like, if people are investing in crypto, yeah, they're hoping to make money. It's not just about investing into assets because of the utility. Because it's like, for me, for example, right? I'm a big XRP believer, right, in what it can do. But I don't just need to keep doing cross-border payments all the time. I don't need to tokenize everything. Like, just because I don't need to necessarily use it for myself or the actual utility purposes, doesn't mean I can't still believe in what that can bring in terms of value to a network or to a token. So yeah, I'm in it because I believe I can make money from it, but I do believe in the utility. So, we can prove that because we've got banks and governments wanting to use these tokens now. So the proof is there. And so I do just question, like, when I look at this now, 2 years on, I wonder how James Jani thinks about this now. I wonder if he still believes that crypto is, the world's greatest scam. I'd be very intrigued to hear his thoughts. And don't get me wrong, he's not going to see this video. My channel is absolutely tiny, so he's not going to see this. But I just wonder, like, what his thought process would be. Like, would he do a new video and maybe change his thoughts? Because this is the first video that I've seen of James Jani that I really disagreed with. You know, I'm on page with him a lot of the stuff that he does. And like I said, I'm not going to take away the quality of his content. He really does do his research. So I'm not taking that away. But to me, in this one, it was like he really doesn't understand crypto thoroughly. It's like he's looked into all the negative sides of this, got all of the negative aspects of it, and just used that as his base case. He's not really understood like what tokenization is, what it can do, what crypto as a whole can do, what cryptos, you know, can bring in terms of utility, the like way it can change industries. He's really just done a very big generalization and just focused on the scams and the negative things. And it's like James, like, you know, we can call cash a scam if we wanted to. You know, we could say that's a huge scam. So like to just base this on crypto alone, I think that's crazy. And again, if the market does have a bubble and it pops, it comes back, right? Like in 2021, there was a bull run. In 2025, here we are, there's another bull run. It will keep coming back. But crypto's not going anywhere. You'll notice, like with the dot-com bubble, once that popped, the internet continued on, but you didn't have anything more with the dot-coms. That just went away because it was a mania, right? That was basically, you know, people just going crazy over something that had no real value. Right? It's like the tulip scandal. Crypto is different. Yes, there are cryptos out there that don't do anything and people will obviously invest in the wrong projects, but there are cryptos out here that will change the world. That is going to happen. So if you're in the right ones, you stand to benefit greatly. But that's just like anything that comes early. Like you have to filter through things, you know, you have to find out what the good projects are and the bad. Right? So yeah, I thought I'd cover this because I did like the video in terms of just watching it, but I've liked it to critique it as well because I've had a lot to say on this. So yeah, just let me know your guys' thoughts if you've seen it. Like I thought this was crazy, to be honest with you, but you know, that's my thoughts on this. I'm not going to give it any more time. Is crypto the world's greatest scam? Absolutely not. There's scams out there all the way around with different things. Crypto can be used as a scam by bad people, just like a car can be used for bad things, right? People could get in a car and then use it to run people over. That's not the intended purpose of the car. Bad people can use the car to do bad things. That doesn't mean the car is bad. It means people are using the car to do bad things. You see what I mean? And that's the difference here. I think what James Jani is saying, oh, people use the car to do bad things, so the car is bad. And it's like, no, not at all. The car is just there. It's how people use it, what makes it bad. And that's the people who are bad. It's not the car itself. So that's the best way I can break it down in a nutshell. But yeah, really disagree with this one. Thank you very much for watching this. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell. Take care.